Now, from across the Tri-States, this is KHQA Sports.
Well, tip-top in the evening, everybody, and welcome to Sports Final, the Friday the 13th edition, where it's super scary, but we'll get you through it. Just hang with me. And welcome to the only place in the Tri-States where you can get all your high school football highlights in CD, the most vibrant, enthusiastic format possible. One man, many highlights. And we start tonight with a battle of parochial powers out at 10th and Jackson as Quincy Notre Dame tried to avenge an embarrassing 27-0 loss to Halas on this very same sod last fall. How would it work out? Tell you what, Halas, a certified powerhouse, Division I tight end, superstar quarterback who threw for 3,000 yards, although Quincy Notre Dame would get to him early. Great defense. First passing attempt by Wyatt Porter, picked off right here by Zach Bailey. Unfortunately, after a fish special, QD drove to the 20-yard line of Halas, turned the ball over on downs. And then things got real. As Halas went to work, it's Garrett Bushjos on the very next drive, putting his Crusaders up at that point 7-0, and it would just kind of snowball from that point forward. Every drive capped with a touchdown. The next one turned in courtesy of Michael Tannehill, who goes in from 3 yards out to make it 14-0. Tell you what, QD's defense did try to tighten the screws. Great hit right here from that fella. Again, the aforementioned Zach Bailey, who comes up strong in pass support. But you know what? Just too much of Wyatt Porter and too much of Garrett Bushjos, who's going to take the ball and scramble in from 15 yards out on the little out pattern. The penalty went against Quincy Notre Dame. It's 21-0. We are not done yet, not by a long shot. Halas again in the red zone, again threatening, and again it's Wyatt Porter going southpaw right here to Ryan Tannehill, not the Miami Dolphin quarterback, but the wide receiver, and a beautiful catch made it 28-0. I tell you what, 16 first downs alone in the first quarter and change for the Crusaders as they just kept attacking. Garrett Bushjos in to make it 28-0, and then the biggest blast of all at the end of it. Defensively, John Ray with the pick-six interception made it 42-0 at that point. QD never got back off the mat. They end up losing by the final count in this one of 51-12 to fall to 2-1 on the season. Now, in conjunction with Game of the Week, our friends at TNT Action Sports are giving away a dirt bike at the end of the season. Great prize as we draw one finalist for that at the end of the year in our drawing from every tailgate party. Tonight's qualifier is Miss Amy Summers of Quincy. Our congratulations to her. Quincy High School trying to end a run of futility on the road at Rock Island, where the Blue Devils hadn't won since 1973. How about the Rocks going to work in this one early? Linder DeVos takes the pitch for 5 yards, and that sets up JT Jones with a 7-yard touchdown run to put the Rocks up 10-0 at that point. But in the second quarter, the Blue Devils come to life, and in fact, would rally back with 14 unanswered points. It starts with George Kirkard doing some work at the quarterback position. He's going to hook up with Seth Holschlag on the beautiful touchdown strike at that point, which puts the Blue Devils on the board, cuts that deficit 10-7, and then it is the outstanding fullback from Quincy High, Malik Robbins, going to add his part after some running right here by the Rocks. They're going to move the ball down, and that's Linder DeVos with a big pickup, and that sets up DeJuan Jones for the field goal to make it 14-13 at that point. Blue Devils ahead at this point. However, late in the ball game with about 3 minutes left, the Rocks score the decisive touchdown, and they continue the run of futility for Quincy High, which loses a heartbreaker. Final count in that one, 19-14 in favor of Rock Island. Better news on the road, though, for the Hannibal Pirates. They go to Boonville and take on a battle of the Pirates, if you will, and they end up winning it. 2 touchdowns in the night from Wyatt King, a scoop and score fumble recovery from Dylan Powell. Also, Jerry McBride with a pick-six interception as Hannibal scores in every manner possible, gets the win over Boonville, 35-7. Let's go to the Clarence Cannon Conference. Busy night there tonight. Palmyra getting back their stud linebacker Ben Altoff, who missed the first couple of games. Palmyra trying to attack early. Brock Butler to the air, scrambling around, looking, and he hooks up with Adam Ellison. Problem is, wrong team. Ellison with a pick, and that sets the South Shelby Cardinals into business at that point. Brett Threckle, quarterback who's known for his running ability, going to show you he's got some passing chops as well. He's also using that mobility to find his way free and going to hook up with Austin Durbin. Beautiful catch for the touchdown there. South Shelby had the early 7-0 lead in this ball game. Palmyra about to answer. Brock Butler waiting for blocks. Going to take advantage of each and every one of them up the middle and down the field for a 38-yard score at that point to even things up at 7 apiece. Palmyra's offense took a little while to get going, but once it did, it was really, really good on this night. And South Shelby really had no stoppage answers. Also, I'll tell you what, special teams big for Palmyra. The block punt here sets up another touchdown. This time it's courtesy of Caleb Kaiser, who's going to take the toss sweep, find his way to the edge, and help spur a Palmyra victory on this night. Palmyra improves to 3-0 in the season. They avoid the trap game, if you will, and get the win, 56-14. Your final. Highland and Clark County, really interesting game as well tonight, as Kenny Grubb's team coming off that really good showing against Brookfield, taking out Scott Murdoch's crew. Highland going to the air early. This is Austin Richmiller. He's a Sacramento Kings fan. We like that about him. Great pass to Dalton Sparks, who comes up with it, ducks under the coverage, and that is going to set up the Highland Cougar kicking game. They have one, and it's clearly a good one thanks to Lane Sly, who's got not only accuracy but enough boot to get this home from 30 yards out. Highland led early on the road 3-0. Clark County looking for playmakers. They'd find one on defense in Shaw Hunziker, who's going to come up strong here all the way up and make the tackle for loss, beating two blockers to the ball carrier to set things up. Highland going to try to make some things happen behind Zach Phillips in this one. Takes the handoff strong, requires every Indian on the field to tackle him, but this drive would stall at the 20. So Clark County goes back to work trying to get into the lead in this one, and it would be Javen Ray, the quarterback. He's been known more for his mobility early in the season, but he can certainly wing the football around. He's going to show that skill to you here. Again, to Shaw Hunziker, who's going to come wide open, and great snare in front of coverage. That would set up the big fella, Jacob Trump, as good a player as there is anywhere in Tri-State football. Going to pound this in from close up. A 5-yard run puts Clark County up 7-3 at that point. Ray going to go back to work, going to try to make some things happen in this ball game. He's going to scramble, but unfortunately for Javen, it's not going to end up real well for him. It's going to end up excellent, though, for Highland and for outstanding defensive back Dalton Sparks, who's going to come up with the free interception right here, and that's going to put his team in motion. And it is a big, big play coming up for Highland. On 4th and 12, the Tigers, or the Cougars, I should say, elect to go for it, showing the eye of the Tiger, as Austin Richmiller again going to do that quarterback mobility thing, extend the play, buy time, and not only is he going to convert the first down, but the touchdown as well. Cody Wilkins, 25-yarder. Highland took the lead briefly. Clark County, though, rallies big in the end and polishes things off to improve to 3-0 in the season, 32-13, your final in that ball game. Macon going on the road to Monroe City tonight. The future Monroe City Panther offensive line looks like it's going to be pretty good and plenty scary. Good stuff from those guys. How about Craig Smith, outstanding mobile quarterback from Macon. Boy, he's going to take this all on his own, call his own number, hit the pylon, and get into the paint for the touchdown. Macon building an early lead. Their offense good, their defense equal to the task as well. Big Trey Cothey. This kid's an all-state type player at defensive end. He's certainly rangy enough. Great tackle for him as well. John Murray with the catch right there from Craig Smith on the next Macon possession. That sets the table yet again. This time screenplay, the little middle screen, if you will, as it's Craig Smith hooking up with Brendan Watts, who's going to take it and go to the house from 15 yards out, putting his team up at this point by a pair of touchdowns. Monroe City's defense would tighten up nicely from that point forward and get some great pass rush on Mr. Craig Smith, which is what you exactly have to do against him. This time it is Dylan Buckman with the quarterback sack. He's all fired up. Monroe City looking for a turning point in this game. That's good stuff. Unfortunately for them, Craig Smith would answer, hooking up with Watts again for a second touchdown. And then Macon's defense gets a little fired up as well. Good to see Jordan Lawley back healthy, because this kid is a difference maker on the Macon Tiger defensive line, and he's going to show it right here. Big fella gets a quarterback sack on Grant O'Brien, pulling him down. But O'Brien, not daunted in this game, he's going to go to work and spur a couple of really nice drives, working to his favorite wide receiver, at least on this particular night, Jonathan Shuck. Going to come open over the middle off play action, and that pickup is good for a first down and moves the sticks and allows Tarek Gardner to go in from 1 yard out for a touchdown as Monroe City gets on the board for the first time. They score right there. And then Macon's going to give the ball back up on a fumble as well. Mike Douglas is going to be Johnny on the spot in this one, cleaning up the fumble and giving the ball back to the Monroe City offense. Douglas having himself a pretty darn good night in the middle of this defense, and this was certainly the highlight moment for the big lineman, getting a little FaceTime, getting his shine, and about to show out on TV. Good for Mike Douglas. That sets up a pretty passing play from Grant O'Brien to Jonathan Shuck yet again. Another touchdown, but Monroe City just didn't have any answers defensively for Macon. Just too strong tonight for the Macon Tigers as they end up getting the victory, improving to 2-1 on the season. Final count in this one in favor of Pete Klass's team, 40-12. was your final in this one. Some scores tonight from the Clarence Cannon Conference. Centralia overpowers Mark Twain on the road 54-8 as Earl Bennett's team bounces back from a rare loss to Palmyra last week. Bowling Green hosting Louisiana, the Mayor's Cup in Bowling Green. And I tell you what, Bowling Green came to play tonight. Trying to go to 3-0. Their offense showing every bit of that. Great pass from Jeff Niemeyer to Caden Jenkins. Going to run away from everybody for the easy score at that point. Jenkins, not one-dimensional. He plays it on defense as well as he comes up here with a big tackle for loss to give his team back the football. And every time Bowling Green had the football, they were going to take advantage at Louisiana's expense. Adam Holt, really quick fullback, going to show you all that speed from 87 yards right here, working his way to the sidelines and working his way into the end zone. He's not the only one on this team who can run. Jeff Niemeyer, the quarterback, also with a big time running night tonight. He'll have a 56-yarder as he's going to run right into your Barcalounger right here. All Bowling Green all the time in this one as the Bobcats blow out Louisiana, get to that 3-0 mark. 64-14 is your final. Also tonight, we've got some scores for you. Knox County, a winner over Fayette. Donovan Edwards, the multi-dimensional quarterback, shows all of his dimensions in a big win with 4 touchdowns to lead his team on their way. Also on the docket tonight, we've got Paris knocking off North Shelby. Kyle Popkus, the outstanding young quarterback from Paris, 5 touchdown passes. The Coyotes look pretty darn good as they get the victory. The Coyotes now 2-1 on the season. One of the more pleasant surprises in our area. Scotland County trying to go to 2-1 tonight, 2-1 tonight, I should say, on the road at South Callaway. Not an easy place to play. South Callaway just darn good. Luke Hortzman right here getting into the Tiger backfield, causing the safety, making it 2-0 South Callaway. Then Smith Kemper going to run right through the middle of the Tigers right here. It was that kind of night for Scotland. We'll spare you any further pain of watching the Scotland County fans as your team ends up on the business end of a 55-0 loss in this one tonight. Let's go back to Illinois. Scores for you. Jacksonville gets the win tonight, 50-14 over Lanphier. Bryce Schnittker, the story in this one, with 5 touchdown passes. Zach Lonergan, 3 receptions of those touchdown passes. Jacksonville bounces back nicely from the win, from the loss against Chatham Glenwood. Elsewhere, it was Martell Hunter and Monmouth Roseville running all over Macomb at Macomb tonight, 47-15. Illini West and West Hancock were tied at the half in what was a really ugly first half that included 7 turnovers. Illini West, though, hits the accelerator in the second half, gets the win 36-8. And Pittsfield and Chillicothe IVC will play tomorrow on the road at Chillicothe. At the WIVC now, Brown County on the road taking on Mendon Unity. First quarter scoreless. The Hornets go to work on Friday the 13th. Lucky number 13, Dylan Rubel, keeps it, makes it 8-0 Brown County at that point. Unity, though, played a really good first half. Brady Luce hooks up right here with Scott Lentz, who's wide open, gets in for the score, and cuts the Brown County lead to 8-7. On the ensuing kickoff, though, Brown County with an answer. The fake run to perfection by Brady Long. He did this last week. He's going to do it again. Pick up the big rumble down the sideline and score to put his team up 16-7. Unity really not going anywhere in this first half, however. Brady Luce again, another TD throw, this time to Alex Blickhand, who's got himself some ability to get vertical as he gets into the end zone, makes it 16-14. The Unity defense would come up with a stop. The Mustangs would score again. This time it's Blickhand on the ground to make it 21-16 in favor of UP. The Hornets threatening, but Cameron Brink comes up with a pick to secure a halftime lead. Unity led 21-16 at the half, but Brown County comes up with 44 unanswered points in the second half. Looks like a state-ranked team in doing so. Final count in favor of the Brown County Hornets. 60-21 is your final in this ball game. Elsewhere in the WIVC scoreboard, Greenfield a winner over Pleasant Hill as Pleasant Hill drops its first ball game of the season, doesn't score on the road. Camp Point Central scores plenty tonight as Camp Point Central knocks off ISD. 71-6 was your final. Bobby Keltz touched the ball 3 times. He scored all 3 times at 65 yards. ISD just overmatched. And as we mentioned last night in the Thursday night special, it was Triopia and Dean Arendt beating up on his old team route 50-0. Arendt with 169 rushing. Here we go. And away we go in this one. Beardstown going to work against Elmwood Brimfield. Alex Miles with the pickup right here. His team trailing, but trying to get back into this thing. And that, down to the 20-yard line, would set up Cole Huey. Red zone sensation in for the score in this one. A 39-yard night for him, including this 1 rushing touchdown. Unfortunately, as you saw, Brimfield way too much, winning 56-14 as Beardstown is handed its first loss of the season. Elsewhere on the scoreboard, Rushville Industry loses its first game of the season, 46-0 on the road at Farmington, and West Prairie's long losing streak continues with a road loss to Mid-County. 34-14 was your final. On the Iowa scoreboard, just one to pass along to you. Fort Madison, a loser on the road to Williamsburg. 55-8 was your final there. We've got some soccer highlights for you tonight. Canton taking on Winfield. Logan Brown with a beautiful cross. Bo Turgeon, the hero the other night, shows it strong with a header to put his team up 3-0 at that point. We're not done with the Canton Tigers. David Weekley going to track down the jump ball right here and head it past the outstretched goalie's fingers. Tigers up 4-0. Cameron Durst about to get himself really loose in this game. Beautiful free kick right here. What a blast from distance. Cameron Durst, he's got a hot foot right now. One-on-one moves, and yeah, he'll blast another one in. 6-0. The Canton Tigers take care of their business and get the big win. Also in soccer, the Hannibal Pirates, hosting their own tournament, open up with a 4-0 win over Springfield Southeast. That means the Pirates take on Macomb tomorrow morning at 11 o'clock. Highlights of that one for you coming up on Overtime. First day of the two-day Mattoon Invitational. Quincy High School currently in first as a team. Zach Burry, Zach Kuhlman-Pfeiffer tied for third place, each with dueling 74s. The current low score on the course, a 71. At the Hampton Inn Volleyball Tournament in beautiful Lincoln, it was Quincy Notre Dame winning a pair, beating St. Teresa in 2 and beating Limestone in 2 to improve to 11-0 on the season. And some college scores to pass along. Great night out at Jack McKenzie Field, Legends Stadium, Legends Park, whatever you want to call it. Wonderful night as Quincy University sweeps a pair from UMSL on the men's side, 2-1 in favor of Ethan Venverlo and company. And on the women's side, late goal makes it 1-0 as the Lady Hawks get the victory there as well. And Culver Stockton splitting a pair of volleyball games today on the road as well, beating William Penn behind 14 digs from Abby Foster. That's all the time we have tonight. Coming up tomorrow, loaded overtime right here at 10:30. Soccer, college football, golf, all kinds of goodies. We'll see you then, everybody.